In this quick video, I'll show you how you can create your own competitor research agent system that will scrape your competitor's website, any related news, even screenshot their website for any visual changes, as well as a social media scraping team, including LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube scrapers that will constantly scrape your own competitors and see for any changes, analyze all these changes, and create a report that will be generated in Gmail. The report would look something like this, including the important information about the competitor in the past week or so, including the latest news with sources, so you could just press and see how and where the competitor was mentioned, in what context, as well as company website news, so basically all the changes happen in that particular website. Also, the tool will have a possibility to screenshot the website and add any design changes. And moreover, the second part of the report will be about social media management. So the LinkedIn updates, Twitter updates, and YouTube updates will be also described with hyperlinks, so we could just press and see the latest post, the summary of that particular post, what happened, constant update about the competitor we have. So the Twitter update in this case, and YouTube update as well. So we could just check and see how this system will work. I'll show you step-by-step process of how you can create your own system or just copy-paste my system by grabbing the template down below. For context, we'll be using N8N and Airtable. So Airtable will be our base where we'll include information about our competitors we want to monitor, and N8N will act as a glue that will combine different APIs or scrapers that will help us to scrape the competitors' actions in the period we want to scrape it. So we'll be using Tavily tool for monitoring Google or Google News, Rapid API and AP5 for scraping LinkedIn, Twitter, screenshotting their websites, and all the important and interesting stuff that I'll showcase you in moments. And we'll be using OpenAI for combining and integrating this whole information to one nicely formatted research document. I'll already show you. So if you want to understand how this process will work, we'll have two different agents. One will be a general scraping agent that will monitor website, that will screenshot the website for visual changes, as well as for any company related news. And the social media scraping agent will have three sub-agents, Twitter sub-agent, LinkedIn sub-agent, and YouTube sub-agent that will basically scrape or watch for any information happen in the past few days. And all of this will be outputted into one nicely formatted research document. And as already mentioned, we'll be using N8N to create this own system. So if you want to look at it in the hindsight, I'll quickly show you how this system will work. I'll press test workflow, and the process will start. This whole process starts from Airtable, where we have a competitors system dashboard. Basically, here we include all the related or needed information for our agent to scrape the competitors. So basically, we include the title of a competitor, their website URL, the company news website. So if you don't know, bigger companies like Shopify in this case has their own news section where we just include any related news about their latest progress, their PR articles, and etc. So basically, I just insert it into my Airtable as well. If you don't want it, or you don't, or your competitor doesn't have such content, so I think it's fine. You can just leave it blank or just remove it. But I included this because it's also an interesting thing to scrape. Moving on, I already included a LinkedIn URL, the Twitter URL, and YouTube URL. So basically, it is an URLs that we will take, and this agent will scrape them and get all the latest posts and information. And that's basically it. As you see, our agent works. It might take a couple of minutes from start to finish because it has a lot of to do. As you see, it uses 6 different sub-agents. So basically, it takes around 2 to 3 minutes for this process to finish. When it will be finished, I'll show you how this works and how you can implement it as well. So after a couple of minutes, this whole system run through, and I'll walk you step by step on how you can recreate the system, or just how to use my template that you downloaded from the resource down below. So this whole system starts with a trigger, and I included two basic triggers. So one will be a test workflow. So if you want to add that trigger, you could just select the first one, trigger manually, and it will be created. Because I already created this, so it wouldn't work, but you would do just that. And the schedule trigger is basically a trigger that will trigger this whole process on the scheduled time. So in this case, I selected every week. So I selected weeks 1 and every Monday at 9 a.m. for example. So in this case, this whole process would start at 9 a.m. every Monday, and I'll get all the related news that from our competitors. When moving on, Airtable, basically when we have this trigger set up, we need to grab that information from Airtable and get it for further analysis. So basically, once again, we need to find Airtable and select the search records section to get and grab all this related information. So basically, at first we need to create the base, and after that, just to find the particular table we want to use. So in this case, I selected Any10 Systems and Competitors Dashboard, where we save all that information. And that's basically it. And when you have the system, you can just, as you see, you just can grab all that information that we have. And in this case, I have one competitor, but if I would have multiple competitors, all of them would be also here. And just after this simple steps, we get that information that we finally can use for scraping and getting all these important juices from our website research agent, as well as a social media agent. So these agents are tool agents. So basically, tool agent means that they use different tools or sub workflows for getting their job done. So website research agent has 3 tools: Tably tool, website news tools, and screenshot tool. So each of these tools do a separate job. And so Tably tool basically scrapes the competitor's website. Website news tries to find any related news, and screenshot tool, it screenshots the website of our competitor. So looking into the website research agent, I have a system and user prompts. So for system prompt, I just say that it is a competitive research agent specializing in comprehensive competitor analysis, where objective is to find latest news, to find those website news, as well as conduct a visual analysis through screenshot API. So basically, I just introduce to the main functionalities that this tool will have. I include the context and describe all of these tools in more details. And I introduce the output format with an example structure that this agent should use. And of course, don't bother screenshotting this prompt, because everything will be in the template below. And regarding the user prompt, I just insert that dynamic data into the prompt. I just insert the information about our competitor, so the title, the website URL, the website news section, and today's date, because I want my agent to particularly know what the date is now, for it to don't make any time-related mistakes. I say that its task is to generate the report by using 3 different tools that we already discussed. And in the output section, I just say that it should write a report without any additional tests. Don't forget to add any sources. So basically, to always source and add those hyperlinks into the report and useful sentences. So that is the website research agent basic prompts. And now we can go through different tools that this model manage. So the first tool is a Tably tool. So for those of you who don't know what Tably is a website that helps us to scrape Google in a very efficient and economical way, because it lets you to scrape Google 1000 times, because you have 1000 credits, so it's more than enough for regular user should try this system for totally for free. So if you want to use Tavily, you need to go to tavily.com, generate an API key, and just copy paste it into the workflow that will be in the research section. So basically we'll just need to leave the post method, apptavily.com/search, and in the body section, the only thing you will need to do to insert that API key you generated, and this automation will basically find any related news about the company that happened in the particular time frame. So in this case, we selected 30 days interval. So if you want to change the interval of the news, so you could just modify this number. So in this case, I left 30 days. You could leave 14 days, 1 week, or whatever time period you want. So here is the only modification you will need to make. And after that, we just save that response from the model by including JSON.results. So if I quickly show you the execution and how it went. So basically we include the query Shopify, and this tool just scrapes the internet and sees the information about the Shopify related news. So in this case, we see that article from Business of Fashion, Shopify drops its cash flow guidance disappoints to start 2025. We get the date of the article, the time, and the basic content of this article as well. Moving on, we have more articles as well with different links, titles, and etc. So in this case, I think we got 9 results, so that's a lot. And all of these results will be later on analyzed by our website research agent, but that's how the Tavily flow really works. Moving on, we have a company website analysis. So as I already showed you, that analysis will be conducted from the company news website. So in this case, it will analyze the shopify.com/news. I can also quickly show you the whole process and how it works. So yeah, we get from the agent, we get the shopify.com/news, and this agent just scrapes that particular website. So I'm using a very useful scraper that is https://ergina.ai. Basically, this scraper helps you to scrape the website very easily and almost for free. You just need to include this URL before the website you want to scrape. So in this case, we included before the JSON.query, that is that shopify.com/news. And after that, we get a lot of data, basically all the data that we have in this particular website. And because we want to scrape that data, we need at first to find any related news or links in those particular Shopify.news page. So basically we need to find the link to this article, this article, this article, and see that they would be only the 30 or 40 days, depending on the time interval we want to scrape, and ask for ChatGPT to find those URLs and to scrape it once again to get the content or information about these articles. So that's why this whole workflow looks a bit more complicated at first, but I'll walk you through and you will understand it step by step. So at first we are using OpenAI module that will basically say you're a helpful classifier, and the user prompt will be a very simple one: read the website content. So basically all the content that we got from that Gina scraper, and just extract the URLs that match these criteria. So contain news, press releases, or company updates, has a visible date nearby, so indicating that this is a news or any sort of article. And we just get these articles for further scraping down below. We ask for it to ignore any product pages, general website changes, or any general website sections. And yeah, we give them an example of exemplary output format. So we say to output only in JSON format and include these URLs just like this. and important, provide all the links that match the requirements above and nothing else. So we just repeat the most important information, and basically this assistant just generates us with all these different links we want later on to scrape. And when we get multiple news links, we have a problem, because we cannot just scrape all of these links at once. We need to take them one by one and scrape them separately. That's why I'm introducing this code node that basically retrieves all these links that we can use one by one. So from one item it generates 6 different items, so basically with 6 different links that we will take one by one and will scrape them all together. So you don't need to bother about this code. Of course, it will already be with you. And after we have all these 6 items, we loop over all of them and ask for ChatGPT to summarize or provide us with the main context. So basically I inserted the loop item, and I redone the same scraping process for that particular link, the newly generated link, and basically that was outputted by ChatGPT. I also use that Gina scraper, and I scrape that particular website URL. So as you see, we got 6 items, so every new article that we got. So in this case, we can see that the indigenous entrepreneurs, their page was scraped, so we can just quickly watch it. It was published 1 week ago, so that's why we want to scrape it. So all this article will be scraped by our Gina helper. Then this information will be looped through 6 different times. When the process will be done, we aggregate all these results. So basically we aggregate the data we got from the loop over items, aggregate all the text that was scraped by this agent, and we ask for ChatGPT to summarize it and output only the most important changes or news that happen in that particular period. So we say for this model, task is to compile that company news into important information only. So their task will be to read, extract key information, create a structured summary, and include all the sources that we might need to read through if you want to have it on your own. So the output format, we introduce the output format and give some examples of how this assistant should work. So it's a bit more complex workflow, but basically it uses the same technology a couple of times, so that's why it might look a bit longer. These are the first 2 tools we want to use. So the first one was Tably for news scraping, and website news for that particular news section in the Shopify website. And the third flow is for screenshots. So screenshot is about getting that particular screenshot of a website to see any news related campaigns or any other visual changes that we might want to use. So this process is pretty simple. Basically, we need to get some API that will screenshot the website and ask for OpenAI to summarize it or take the main important takeaways. If you want to see the end result, I can quickly show you as well. So the end result is the screenshot URL of this website. That will look something like this. So Shopify is a very big website, but as you see, it was screenshot correctly with all the important information loaded as well. So this is a real API that I really recommend you. I tried many others before I found this, so I'm very happy with it, and because it's free, it's very useful for me as well. So for this particular scraper, I'm using Apify and website screenshot generator. So you could go to apify.com, search for website screenshot generator, make sure that the URL and the title is the same. It's totally free for you to try it out and see how this whole process really works. If you want to integrate it into Any10, the process is very easy. You just need to go to that particular Apify agent, select the APIs, select the API endpoints, and scroll down to run actor synchronously and get dataset items, and basically just to copy paste this URL, get back to the website screenshot generator, select the HTTP request mode, and copy paste that into the URL, select the post method, include the API key if you haven't authenticated, and just select the JSON body that you will get also from the particular scraper you are using. So when you're in API, you could just select the JSON and copy paste this whole section if you want to get it for your own agent as well. I already did the job for you. So yeah, that's basically how you get the screenshot using API. And after that, you just go to OpenAI vision model and include that URL into the URL sections. And for the prompt, I just basically say you're a visual analysis expert. Your task is to analyze the provided homepage and give me some additional information about that, including the branding, the copy of the text, and any other visual elements. So in this case, I selected a pretty simple prompt. Of course, you can adjust it to the needs that you have. When this process will run through, OpenAI will generate you a content analysis with all the required output that I asked for it. So a bunch of text about the Shopify website, the headlines, the copy, the visual style of it, and anything else. So it's also a very good way of monitoring young competitors to not only scrape the text but visual elements as well. So that is basically it regarding the website research agent. That's how we use these three tools. And in the end, when all this information is populated, the website research agent will just generate you with a report with all the information about the competitor, the date, the articles, the news, and the screenshot information that will report it as well, and with sources at the end. So that is the first part of our scraping. The second part is about social media research. So as already mentioned, we'll be using YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter analysis. Scraping social media is a bit more difficult in theory because you need to outplay these big platforms that don't like when you are scraping their information. I had some trouble finding free-to-use APIs that you can use on your own without any session cookies or without any paid trials. But don't worry, because I found those APIs that works really good and they are totally free to start. So we can start with YouTube analysis. Regarding the YouTube, we are using the same process. We are using HTTP request node. We include the YouTube scraper API. So I really like this API because it's like the most convenient way you can use for YouTube scraping. Basically, we repeat the same process, press API endpoints, and select the run actor synchronously and get a dataset items, copy paste that URL, and modify the JSON we want to have. So basically, the JSON is the instructions that we want to scrape about. So in this case, we can select either to search for a particular term. So in this case, we could say AI automation agency if you want. And if you have a particular URL, just like we do, we have a particular URL of our competitors, we need to scroll down through and select the direct URLs option. We can also include a bunch of additional information like subtitles, filters related to the date, language, the resolution of the videos, and etc. etc. And when we are selected all these requirements according to our needs, we can just press the JSON body and copy paste all this information and insert it into our YouTube scraper node. So I already did that, and you wouldn't need to do anything else except if you want to change anything related to the settings I have. The most important information is in URL section, where we just include that JSON query. So in this case, it's a Shopify videos query, and basically that's how this whole process will be scraped. And because we chose 30 days time period. We got only 2 videos in this case. So how this entrepreneur sets the next generation up for success. We had all the important information we might should get, including the thumbnail in this case, of course the link, likes, date, and even a short description. So basically, according to that description, our AI agent will summarize the video and what was talked about. So that's a pretty useful automation. Before setting the response, I also include the code node. So basically simplify the information we have. You'll have this code on the template below, but basically this simple code is just taking and filtering the information we got from that huge API output and combining into one item that we will send to our social media agent, including and saying that it is a YouTube response, and selecting the code output. So in this case it's json.videos, and that's how this YouTube analysis really works. Moving forward, the Twitter analysis is a bit more complicated because Twitter is really hard to scrape, especially for free. So I had to find some good scrapers, and I found this were crafted by Monkey Coder. So thank you, Monkey Coder, for that, because I didn't find any free APIs that can really do the job for my task except this one. So I can really recommend it. Basically, we can insert the URLs as well as the date. So basically, we can automatically select the 30 or 40 days date we have today, and it will scrape the latest post according to it. We can also add some filters if you want. So for us to not scrape all of the account information, but just a bit. And as already showed you 2 times already, the process would be the same. If you want to use the scraper, go to API and copy paste the JSON. And yeah, we have that information. We can go to Apify, copy paste the URL, as well as include the body. So in the body we have the since date. So basically I ask for ChatGPT to write me a function that will get me the date, the days before. ChatGPT can really help you on this. And for the URL, we have a JSON query, so basically the x.com/Shopify. So in this case, we got 3 items and a bunch of different information. So it's not a very clean output that we would use for ChatGPT or AI analysis. That's why at first I want to aggregate them. So I want to aggregate only the most important information, the text of the post, how many likes we got, as well as when we were created, and the exact URL to the post. So that's how we get 4 different arrays in this case, and that's why I want to combine all these arrays into one nice looking JSON. And I once again asked ChatGPT to write me a code that will take all these different arrays and combine them into one response with that will look something like this, with full text, favorite count, date, and the URL. And we will send this data to our AI model to analyze it and take all this information. And the last part is our LinkedIn scraper. So LinkedIn taken the most time because I analyzed so many different APIs, and all of them needed session cookies. So session cookies is basically a very private identifier that user has, and basically if you want to use almost all the best known scrapers, you will need to get that particular session cookie, for example using Phantom Buster or any other related app. So I really spent a lot of time looking for any API that I would use to scrape LinkedIn, and not only the profile of a person but a company post, because there are a bunch of APIs that can help you scrape a LinkedIn profile, but not the company. So I found one in Rapid API. So Rapid API is an alternative for Apify. So I scraped a lot of APIs, see how they work. So not many of them really worked according to the needs, but the one who did was Fresh LinkedIn Profile Data Scraper. So I selected it, and I find the company posts. So you just need to scrape down below to get company posts, and basically to import the curl into the anything scenario. So just copy paste this, go to the HTTP request node once again and import the curl, and basically insert it just right here, and it will get all information for you. And basically you'll need to change only one thing, that is the URL of the company we want to scrape. So in this case, once again, we'll need to insert that JSON.query expression into our flow, and everything will be fulfilled according to our needs. We'll get a bunch of different information with LinkedIn posts from Shopify in this case, and I couldn't easily modify the date of this scraping. So basically I got a first page of Shopify post, so it's more than 50 posts, I believe, and that's why I will need to classify them later with other nodes. But because now I have a bunch of posts that are like a couple of months old, so I don't want to parse them and take to the ChatGPT analysis. I want to grab only the latest one, so that's why I will be using code node later on. And that code node basically will get only the most important information, will count the 30 days from the date we have now, and select only the text, the URL, the reactions, and bind this information. And the final output will be the text, the date of a posted article, and the URL. So we can copy and select it, and we'll get into the Shopify LinkedIn and get the latest posts only. So this scraper is really good, and you can try it for free. I really recommend it. With no session cookie, I think it's like the most efficient way to scrape LinkedIn. And when we have that, we can just use the same process as before, select the LinkedIn response and just include the JSON.post. That's how this system really works. Regarding the social media research agent, we basically have the system prompt that is very similar to the research agent we had before. We just introduce the role, the task, and the context. So we say that you will be scraping LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. You will have 3 different tools that will do that following task, and we insert the output format of the report we would like it to make. And for the user prompt, we just insert the company LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter, today's date, and say that you would need to send these URLs and nothing else to that particular agent you will be using. And the output format is a nicely formatted report. So that's how we will be using social media research agent. And when website and social media research agents already did their task, and the only thing we need to do is to summarize their research into one properly formatted HTML document and send it to our Gmail, as well as update Airtable base. So that's a very easy step to make. We have a column chain with a system prompt that says you are a document agent specializing in converting research reports into professional HTML format. You will combine these 2 documents into one document, and that's basically it. I also disclaim that it shouldn't change any content, just add HTML tags without any modification of the content itself. And for the user prompt, it's a bit more longer, because we just insert the information from the website research agent as well as social media agents. Once again, write that it should include all the hyperlinks and sources in the link. Also, I just give some HTML formatting tips and guidelines regarding the style. So of course, it's not important to have that style set up, but if you want that report to be more beautiful for you, so you could just include that HTML formatting tips. And that's basically it. This will take 2 reports that were generated and make it into one report, just like this. Of course, we don't see the formatting because it's just a bunch of HTML tags, but as I already show you, the end result looks something like this. So competitor, latest news, website news, key insights, etc. So if you want, you can use Gmail or document creation process or whatever. In this case, I selected Gmail for me to get that report every week, as we already talked. So you just need to select the Gmail node, select for whom you want to send that email. In the subject, I just say that we want to get Shopify, the company we are analyzing, node, include the report, and say that which date this report was generated. And we include the email type as HTML and just say that, hello, here's the report. This HTML tags means that basically will be a white space between the lines, and we say that here's the report, new line, and JSON.text, HTML formatted document. And that's the whole process. The last step is just to update Airtable. So in this case, I just say that it should update the last modified date. So whenever this workflow will continue, Airtable will be updated and will know whenever this automation took place. So that's it. I hope you found a lot of value by looking into this process with me. You will get all these free templates as well, and you will have a possibility to create your own research agent that will can scrape your competitor's website and social media. I was really happy by building this workflow. I think it's a real valuable tool that you can use for your team or business to monitor your competitors and get all the latest news that you can have. So if you really liked this video, you can like and subscribe. It will mean a lot to me, and that's how I will reach way more people. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned because I will upload this type of videos every week. See you next time.